Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to assemble a model kit, and I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start things off by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 blue emote into the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes, and if you feel like just being a lurker, because that's all you want to do is lurk, you can do that. You just lurk and that's okay. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. Happy to have you here. I am currently at 29 subscribers. The goal is to get to 30. I shut up about the number of subscribers I have when I hit 30. So, want me to shut up about that one thing? I'll talk about a lot of other things, but if you don't want me to do that one thing, you could become a subscriber, you could gift a sub. You got options. There are things you could do if you wanna. What should I say before we really get into this thing here? I don't know. It's a Thursday. I hope you're doing well out there. We're working on the G-Self with Perfect Pack model kit. So it's the G-Self, but then it's got a lot of cool extra backpack bullshit that we're going to be putting on there. You may remember that this kit, which I just knocked a piece off of, so that's fun. This kit I did buy. It's my first ever Facebook Marketplace purchase of a model kit, and it comes with the story of how I got it, which is that it was a low price, and I was confused why it was so low, and I was like, oh, is this someone that doesn't know and didn't look it up and is just trying to get rid of it? I mean, I could take advantage of that. But no, it turned out that the box had suffered water damage. Many boxes apparently had. This was one of the only ones left. And so they were selling it, and then I got it for a price that was good. I got it for basically half price. It does mean that I am using an iPad for my instructions. I have a PDF. I could use it on a monitor, but I like using it on the iPad because that's normally where my instruction booklet is. Let's go to the overhead camera. Normally, you can kind of see it. Whoop, this moved. You can see there's the iPad right there. And normally, I have the instruction manual there. But the instruction manual was gross, so I didn't want to use it. I have knocked this shoulder piece off, or neck piece, whatever this is. I knocked this off, so I gotta get that back on before we can continue with the build, which I want to continue, obviously. So I got this for $15, which is a pretty fucking good deal. Originally asking 20, I wanted to give him 10. I did 15. Settled for 15. Happy with the 15. But yeah, the box is all messed up. I've shown it on stream before. I'll show it here just very briefly. You can see lots of water damage. This box, bad things happened to this box. All of the contents were fine inside because they were in plastic bags, with the exception of the instruction booklet, which was not great. So I'm using the iPad, which in some ways is fine, in other ways is not ideal. But I'm getting it done. All right, so that piece is back on. I'm going to start by panel lining this arm here. Excuse me. Pardon me. And then I will get into working on the rest of the kit and getting that going. I hope you're doing well out there on the old internet. I won't talk too much wrestling tonight because I don't have much to say about wrestling tonight. Hey, Lord Crashington. But I'll be watching AEW Collision, which is normally a Saturday show. It's airing tonight, and so I'll watch the replay later. But I did see that the Motor City Machine Guns are all elite. They had been released by WWE. This is a famous wrestling in America. They were on TNA for a number of years, and then Impact Wrestling, which is still TNA, and then now it's back to TNA. There was a period there where they made a couple little dalliance, little appearances in AEW, but they didn't sign with AEW. Instead, they went to the WWE, and they were there for a while. And then they got cut from WWE, and people wondered, would they go back to TNA? Would one of them retire and the other continue with, Alex Shelley? Is that a pretty good solo run? Would they do that? Would they just retire from wrestling? Maybe do indies and the tour, the autograph circuit, and then perhaps just wrap it up, go into the TNA Hall of Fame or something, and just kind of be done. They are both in a band, so maybe they would make their band their priority because they are getting up in years. They're not old by any stretch, but they have been wrestling for a long time. But no, they who knows how long their contract is for, but they did sign with AEW. I am not... How do I say this? The idea of Motor City Machine Guns in AEW in 2020 is insane. 2019, groundbreaking, huge. What a big deal. 2026, I'm like, and do what? The tag division in AEW kind of fucking sucks. There's like 2 teams that win all the time. They had an exciting team that they had win the belts for a while, and then they kind of went their separate ways, and now they're kind of back together. Brodito is the shining light in that division because it was something new and interesting. But for the most part, it has either been one of 2 tag teams or a nostalgia act hold the belts. And that has been not that exciting for your friend Pat. Your friend Pat has found that to be kind of bad. And when I say nostalgia act, I certainly mean Cope and Christian. But I also mean Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Now, I should make this clear. When I talk about wrestlers in their late 40s, early 50s, mid 50s wrestling for AEW, I generally don't put Shelton Benjamin in that category because Shelton can still fucking wrestle and can still fucking go. He's ridiculous in that he has not lost a step. And there's always an exception that proves the rule. And in that case, it's Shelton. But like every other old man in that company is an old man in that company. Not up to snuff. Going over younger guys. Kind of fucking sucks. And I am not trying to say that Motor City Machine Guns are old and washed up, but they aren't the guys. Like the idea of let's introduce the Motor City Machine Guns, and then directly after that, let's have 3 young guys that clearly were influenced by the Motor City Machine Guns, the Rascals. Let's have them wrestle. And it's like, y'all already have the Rascals. They've got a decade plus, 2 decades of wrestling in front of them. Motor City Machine Guns pop the audience because it's Detroit. You know, and what it feels like, what it often feels like is, okay, so we're going to get Motor City Machine Guns versus the Young Bucks. But what after that? What comes after that? Is there anything after that? And like, yeah, man, that's going to be good. The Bucks will carry that match. Machine Guns will step up in a way that they can. But like, are young guys going to beat them at any point? We're gonna have any young guys win over them? And if they do, is that burying the legends or whatever the fuck? I don't know. There are so many people in AEW. And also, let's be real. Soon, there will most likely be another tag team in AEW. Now, that's going to take longer because one of those 2 guys is injured and we don't know when he'll be back to wrestle and clear to wrestle. So, like, the New Day could be a long time before we see the New Day. But, like, they're going to fucking hire the New Day. Like, they're going to hire the New Day. It's going to happen. It would be unlikely if it didn't. Um, we'll see Austin Creed and Kofi in there, doing their thing. And it'll be good. I don't know. I will say in general, I am down on let's see, E20? Yeah. I am down on AEW currently. I think last night there were moments last night that were phenomenal, but they're fucking up so much with the men's main event in a way that is like wild. That they are like fucking this up. They are fucking up one of the easiest stories you could possibly tell. Will Ospreay wants the childhood dream, the British boy's childhood dream of performing in Wembley. You know, doing something at Wembley. The kid, it wasn't going to be football, but it's wrestling, and he's doing it. Meanwhile, Kenny Omega, on what could be his last run, the run that he is not just to prove to haters, but also to prove to himself that he can do it. And he doesn't want to end it now. He's just getting started. He don't want to lose to Will. He loves Will, and Will loves him. It's a fucking easy, how far are they willing to go? Is Kenny going to leave Will's neck alone? Is Will going to punch Kenny in the kidneys? Like, it's an easy fucking story to tell. And instead they were like, well, what if Will is maybe a heel, but doesn't want to be a full heel? And so Kenny can't trust him. And maybe Kenny is like stupid. Maybe Kenny's a fucking idiot suddenly. And Will's already an idiot. And they're both idiots. And the only smart person in the storyline is fucking Jon Moxley. Well, maybe we'll just tell that story. It's like, why? Why are we telling this story? What are we fucking doing here? It is depressing. So, I understand. When I say this, I understand that this will not happen. I understand that there is no way that any match will main event that Wembley show. There's no way that it won't be Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. It's going to be Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. I understand that. When it comes to my interest and what matches I want to see, Mercedes Moné versus Willow Nightingale is the main event. That's my main event. That match is going to rule. Willow and Mercedes work phenomenally well together. The storyline of Mercedes had all these belts. She was the belt collector. She was doing everything. The one belt she wasn't able to win, the world title. It's the one belt she wants more than any belt. And she lost all her belts, including the TBS title, which she lost to Willow Nightingale. Willow Nightingale, who has her number, who can beat her, who is by, probably gonna beat her. That story rules. They're going to tell a great story in the ring. They're going to have incredible matches. It's going to be fucking fantastic. And in my mind, it should main event. Now, again, to be clear, I know it won't. But knowing and wishing are two different things. I got to see where... Sorry, I got to make this bigger. There, okay. Now that's bigger. I can kind of see what I'm doing here. All right, there is also a... I also have to get a sticker that needs to get applied right here, but I'll do the sticker after I'm done setting this up. I have... One thing that is nice about using the iPad is I can make the image really big. And of course, a bit of a loss of quality, but... It's still pretty easy to find things. So yeah, I'm a little meh about, and I hate that I'm meh about what will be a fantastic match, I'm sure. Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, I know that match is going to whip ass, but man, kind of bummed with how it's being set up and how it's being booked. Excuse me. Okay. And then this looks like this. And then this goes in here. Okay. I can make this smaller now. Oh, yeah, I got to do the sticker. Y'all, I almost missed the sticker. I've missed a couple stickers on this kit and I had to go on back. And I almost missed sticker 28 right now, which I imagine is teeny tiny because it's going on a very small area here. So it should be pretty easy to find sticker 28. Now, of course, I can't enlarge the stickers to see the numbers. So I do use my phone for this because my overhead light on this silver background here does make it difficult for me to read what things are being said here, or what were written, I should say, not said. So I am looking for sticker number 28. All right. Come on, focus. There you go. 28 is one of these top blue stickers. Yeah, I would not have seen that easily. It is one of these stickers here. But when I do the other leg, it'll be easy for me to find. That's what I'll tell myself. Maybe it'll be true. And then it just goes right here. Nice and easy. Just a little sticker, and then we'll line it up, and then use a toothpick. Let's see. Other things we can talk about that are not wrestling that bum me out. Here's one that's fun. Aftermath, the website Aftermath, that's aftermath.site. They have been doing it's Hater Week, where they write about stuff that pisses them off. And then they also write some articles about things that don't piss them off as like a counterpoint. They're doing some counterpoint stuff. Pretty good choice. Fun stuff here. Let me just adjust my camera a little bit here. Sorry. There we go. Like that. Yeah. Perfect. It's been good stuff. Now, one thing they did that Nathan Grayson over at David Hayter, gotta give his own. Yes, yeah, good joke. Good joke, Lord Crashington. Good bit. This is a good list that Nathan Grayson wrote up an article that listed, let me check the numbers here, 55 game studios that have publicly said, we are not going to use generative AI. We think it's bad. And the article goes through reasoning that people have left, either be it on Steam pages or in response to people's or on social media or on their own websites. They go, folks go into detail and say, like, this is why the studio's against it and things like that. So you can go to the article on Aftermath to look at that. I am not going to read out what everyone is saying, but I am going to, because I think it's fun. Wait, let me make sure. Is this the right piece? Sorry. I realize I need A15 and A14. I don't think that's the right number. Oh, yeah, okay. That was 15. This is 14. Got it. I am going to instead read off the list of every game studio that they have mentioned in their article. Some of which you may recognize immediately, others you don't. These are mobile studios, small indies, medium-sized groups. At least one, you go, aren't they a publisher? And the answer is yes, but they also have done some video games as well. They're, I'll mention one that is primarily known as a publisher, but also has done some amount of game dev as well. So yeah, we'll go through this list of, again, 55 game studios that say, nah, dude, we're not doing it. Okay, let me read through this one here. Abandoned Sheep, Alien Fruit Games, Apparition Games, The Beauty Cult, Blendo Games, Blue Bottle Games, Can't Get Enough Games, which is some of these I will do a minor commentary to say that's a really fucking good name for a game studio. Causeway Studios, Checkered Ink, Circsaw, Daikon Games, Daydream Gallery, D-Cell Games, Damser, Digital Extremes, Dog in the Machine, Downstream Games, Eternal Skies, Finji. They're the ones that often are considered just a publisher, but they have actually developed games as well. Funky Rhino Games, Fuzzy Ghost, Gray Alien Games, Hawkward Studios, and Hinterland Studio, but not studios. Hinterland is a studio. Hawkward are studios. I need A6 and A9. Let me get those out here before I continue with moving into the last H, which is Hybrid Fiction Games. So that's 6. That goes here, and then I need 9. A9. One here. Do that. Impromptu Games, Joy Flow Games, Jerger, Callie and Lation McDonald, Co-op, that's KO_OP, Co-op, the fine folks at Co-op, Lunaland, Manzanita Interactive, Merlino Games, Necrosoft Games, Nightwell Games, Goblin, Noah Decimal Creative. I don't know this one. I've never heard of this studio before. NPCKC. I want to say it's probably Nitpick. There's just no vowels. They went that route. That's my guess on pronunciation of that particular game studio name. Sorry, let me try to figure out how this works here. How would it go like that? It goes like that. Are you telling me this one sticker I put on is it's a back knee sticker? That's wild. Okay, sure. The fucking back knee sticker. And I got more stickers to put on here too, of course. Of course I have more stickers, but we'll get some pieces on here and then we'll do more stickers. Where was I? Old Flower Games, Pedalboard Games, Pistol Shrimp Games. Excellent name. Pixel Prophecy, Pressed Elephant, Red Team Games, Rerolled Studio, Rio Labyrinths, CDI Software. This is a fucking fantastic name for a company. That is not the letter CDI. That is the word seedy, SEEDY, the word I, EYE, software. CDI Software. That's fucking really good. I don't know what they make. I would be interested to know. That's just a really good fucking name for a studio. A4. Got it. CDI ports, yeah. They do CDI ports, says Lord Crashington? No, I need to know. Now I need to know. Go over here. CDI. CDI. CDI Software, indie dev focused on crafting unique games that pay respect to unlikely sources. Is the product card of the video game developer Seth Dopley Fulkerson. Cool. Azarit, the Jewel of Faramore. Yes. Thank you, Akito. It's just a fucking really good name for a studio. Spoiled Cat, Strange Scaffold. We know them. We'll talk about them later. The fine folks at Strange Scaffold. Super Overweeb. Team Kaizen. Threshold Games. Threshold Anomaly Games. Turbo Button. Two-Headed Boy. And Umakai Games. So one thing we can learn from this is that independent game studios are more that don't like generative AI and have claimed that they will not be using generative AI are more likely than not to have the word games in their in the title of their studio. This is what we've learned today. Because there are a lot of these studios that say games. A ton of them. A couple studios or studio, mostly games. Two-Headed Boy. I just want to sing like Two-Headed Boy. Lyrically, that is appealing to me. In airplane over the sea style. I just want to do that. Okay, so I got to put a sticker on here. I got to put two of these on here, huh? Okay. I got to put a sticker like this. Now, would this have been easier with these pieces off? I don't know, maybe, but I think it'll be okay. Oop. So yeah. Hey, John Robert, happy to see you there. Miss you too as well. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. I hope the stream is going to go well. I'd like to think so. I like to think it'll be a good one. But thanks for stopping in, buddy. Yeah, lovely. Hell yeah. Yeah, that list is again 53 game studios that are like, actually, we're not. Yeah, we're not going to use generative AI, and that's great. Good for them. Love to see it. You love to see it. There's not much else to say, really. It's just like, yeah, that rules. I don't know. I also thought that was fun to be able to read off some game studio names. That's just a little fun thing for your boy Pat. Just something silly and fun for me to do. Let's see. Lightspeed LA, which is owned by Tencent. They are the developer of The Last Sentinel. They are doing layoffs, which is a subsidiary. So Lightspeed LA is a subsidiary of Lightspeed, which is owned by Tencent, and they're making Last Sentinel. And they have some sort of change in direction on the project, and that is as much as they have said about what's going on there. And apparently that's 80 employees, according to GamesBeat, which is a lot of fucking people. I don't know how big that team is, but 80 employees seems like a lot. A project that has Troy Baker attached as performance director. So who the fuck knows what's going on with that? But like 80 layoffs is a lot of people. That's kind of fucking wild. Fucking man. All right, so like EA is probably going to go private, and it's probably going to be owned by the Saudi Arabian government or the Prince of Saudi Arabia through his many things. That looks like it's fucking happening. So there will be a lot more EA news coming the next year or so of EA as all of this shakes out and becomes a fucking nightmare and continues. There's just going to be more of that. That is unfortunately Inevitable that we're going to see more of the bullshit. Now, you may know that there have been some layoffs at EA. Even though and again, layoffs do not matter about performance. They do not care about the money you've made, the money you've lost. It is generally just about, oh, the stock price will go up a little bit if we do this. Oh, if we do that. Oh, whatever. Oh, we finished the game. Let's lay off half the studio that made it. Even if that game is making them a ton of money, which in case Battlefield certainly did. But also, Andrew Wilson of EA, the CEO, was awarded in 2026 fiscal year a just unbelievable amount of money. $38.6 million in salary, bonuses, and stock. That's up $8 million from the previous year. And that is, and that had been $5 million more than the previous year to that. So he's gone from $25 million in 2024 to $38.6 million in 2026. And that's just an ungodly amount of money. And again, laying off the people that helped those record profits. It is never the C-suite. It's never those people that suffer the consequences. It is always the people on the ground, boots on the ground. It is, just our consistent fucking nightmare. That this continues like this. Oof. So there's a document about this stuff, like the things that did well. Battlefield achieved meeting all milestones for a high-quality launch, Battlefield 6, with positive critical reviews and stable service and gameplay, with inner milestones related to future launches being met. EA Sports FC did well, and especially the FC Mobile. Skate did well for them. And then, of course, full circle. So Skate and Battlefield are two of the games that they're like, these did fucking so well for us. And those are the places that had massive layoffs by EA as well. Ugh. It's just depressing. And then unfortunately, to pile on the depressing, there have been layoffs at Double Fine. Obviously, people saw this coming, right? They were Microsoft divested them. They are now an independent studio. An independent studio runs leaner than a studio owned by a giant corporation, right? This is not you making excuses for Double Fine. I don't know how they would have been able to keep everybody. This in a statement attributed to Tim Schafer, which is, again, like unsurprising about Tim, but surprising just in general. They mentioned that 23 employees laid off, and says a thing that I believe, that doesn't make it better, but I do believe this to be true. Only the survival of our studio would ever make us consider such a painful action. Our transition to becoming an independent company also means becoming a size we can sustain. And I don't think that's just like a weird lie. It sucks, but I don't know if there was going to be an outcome besides this. Obviously, this is the outcome, but I just don't know if there was going to be a different thing than that. Like, it just never felt like there was going to be anything other than that. Yeah, it's completely unsurprising for a studio suddenly going independent. That wasn't their plan. Yeah, that just shipped a game, right? So, like, yeah, they got their IP, but where are they in the process of working on other things? Like, we don't know, obviously. They're always going to have to do this. Yeah. And again, to be clear, that does not make this better. It just makes it understandable. All right, so I got to find stickers 29 and 30. Oh, let me find 29 and 30. That's 30, that's 29. Okay. Okay. 29 is this one here. So yeah, real shame. Unfortunately, very understandable. And here's a weird thing. Hey, speaking of, this one's so weird, y'all. It's so weird that this is happening. There's gonna be some delays in stuff in going forward with Elder Scrolls Online, which of fucking course there will be. Of course there will be delays with releases for Elder Scrolls Online, considering all the people that were laid off at ZeniMax Online Studios, including people in leadership. Like, it wasn't just, like a bunch of small, people working on small projects or somebody working on another thing for ZeniMax. Like, we had a team of like 10 that were working on some other project, Ghostworks or whatever. No, that seemed to be pretty dramatic. So it sounds like the roadmap that had originally been there is been adjusted. There was a overhaul of a class that was supposed to be coming this year that's now coming next year. We got a big raid. Welcome, Raiders. Hello, Raiders. Hi. Hello, hi. Welcome. I hope you had a good time watching terrible things over at Puppet Jared. Or maybe really good shit. I don't know. Sometimes maybe you're watching some real class, some real kick-ass shit. I don't know. I don't know how y'all operate over there, but I hope you had a good time. Welcome. For those that don't know me, I'm Pat Baer. I build model kits and Lego sets. We talk about anime and video games and all kinds of things and things. We chat. Alan B. Oh, Alan B. Alan B is not... It's one of those things where when I first started watching Gundam, G Gundam was the second Gundam... the second Gundam series I had ever seen. And my feelings on how Alan B got done dirty, that's not... Like, I stand by those feelings. It's just that I've now watched enough Gundam shows that she's like maybe top 5, but maybe not. She's maybe top 10 in the top 10 of women who got done dirty in goddamn Gundam. Wow. Like, she's not the top of the list. Again, totally 100%. Like, come on, what are we doing here? But, like, in the grand scheme of things, it's more about the Gundam series over the years than it is about Allenby, who's doing her goddamn best. But, thank you very much for the anonymous gifter who gave a gift sub to Robot Roll Call 69, which is a great username. That takes me to 30 subscribers, and I can take this number away. I hit my goal. That's my sub goal of 30. I had a little sub goal there, and we have hit it, which means I can take that number away because I don't have to give a shit about that number anymore until it drops down below 30, in which case I'll then have to be bummed about it. And I'm going to play the applause sound. Thank you very much to that anonymous gifter for using that. And then we also got some bits. Thank you very much, Jake, for the bits. Cha-ching! Thank you very much for that. Those are the sound effects that are related to giving me things. So I've now used both of them, and I appreciate y'all. What's this model kit, Pat? You might be wondering. This is the Gundam G-Self from G-Reco. That's Gundam Reconquista in G, which is a series that I don't think is particularly great, but I think the mobile suit designs are pretty rad. So this is the G-Self, which is your main-ass Gundam, and it's with the Perfect Pack, which is like the bonus backpack with all of the cool effect parts. It's got all of the effects on the backpack. It's got its own stand because the backpack is so big and weird. It also has a lot of stickers. Like, we've already applied a ton of stickers to this kit, and as you can see, there are many more for us to apply, which is fine. It's fine that there's a bunch of stickers. I hate on having to apply stickers. That's only because I don't think I've ever built a kit that I thought was ugly that had a lot of stickers on it. Like, the stickers make the kit look better. They make it more alive. They're often color correcting stickers. They're helpful. Sometimes they're like the stickers on the shoulder where all of this blue right here, all this blue that's right here and right here, that's all one sticker that I had to like carefully fold, and I didn't do it perfectly. Because there's a little bit of white there. I don't like those stickers because I'm not good at applying them. But like, most of this is just like, okay, sure. We're adding a little bit of color here. Like, they didn't want to do blue plastic for this one piece, so it's 2 stickers here. Sure, whatever. They didn't want to do, like this is one sticker here, and then there's a clear piece over it. And same thing here, there's a sticker with a clear piece over it. I think that looks pretty fucking rad. Like, that's cool. So I'm like, okay, it is what it is. That's what we're dealing with. I do have to build the foot, but I'm going to panel line this first. I'm going to be using a marker here, a gray marker, a Gundam marker, and it will hopefully take this piece that looks fine and kind of jazz it up a little bit. A little bit of color here. It'll look real good. I told the story here before. I'll tell it because there are some folks here that don't know the story, which I think is a pretty fun little bit of business here. What's going on with this kit? So I am using an iPad with a PDF on it for my my manual because the regular manual that comes with this kit was damaged. It had water damage. This kit had some amount of water damage before I got it. It is a Facebook Marketplace purchase. It's my first time I bought a model kit on Facebook because they just don't show up on Facebook. You can see here that this box was damaged, and you can see the water damage on the inside of the box there. That should give you a good indication that this was a box on a shelf and water got in it. And then somebody was like, I will sell this for $20. And this is the fun thing of this. Okay, so I see this model kit, which goes for like $35 to $40, depending on where you're buying it. Like 35 plus shipping, so maybe even 45, that kind of thing. And I see it for 20 on Facebook, and I was like, a friend of mine sent me the link. It was like, hey, this is near you, right? And I was like, it is near me. I was like, why is this $20? Is this somebody who doesn't know what model kits are worth? Is this like I'm getting rid of my ex's stuff kind of a thing? Because I'm thinking, what else are they selling? They might be selling some other stuff, which is, like, maybe that's shitty of me, but, you got to do what you got to do. So I inquire about it, and I am told by the person, oh, yeah, so I think all the plastic is fine. We do. Thank you for the follow, Honest Dan. Or Honest Don. I'm sorry, Honest Don. You're Honest Don. Honest Dan is a minor character in Fallout 4. You want to help him out. You want to help him out. He's doing a good thing. He doesn't know he's doing a good thing, but you want to help him out. Lord Crashington wants me to read a trivia card, which I will. Anyway, well, thank you very much for the bits. I appreciate that. I'll read this trivia card in a second. Let me just finish the story. Lord Crashington. I also have to do this. Thank you for the bits. I appreciate it very much. Cha-ching. Thank you for the bits. Long story short, the owner's like, there was water damage. Water leaked into a bunch of stuff, including this box. But the plastic, there's plastic in it, right? The package, it's all in plastic, so it'll be okay. And I was like, all right. And so then I was like, what if I gave you $10? And then he was like, I mean, I put it at 20, and I was like, what if I give you $15 and I come today? And he said, okay. So I went and got it for 15. All of the parts are fine because they're all in plastic. They're plastic in plastic bags, and all it's fine. One thing that was damaged was the manual, which is all sticky and weird and had water in it. So I'm using my iPad because I found a PDF online, thankfully, of it. And so I can do that. And I threw away that instruction manual because it didn't look good. All right, so I got this box of trivia cards here. Delightfully useless trivia. This is a Christmas gift. It was one of a couple things. And so what I've been doing is I have been going through the box when people use their channel points to redeem it and reading a trivia. And then eventually I will have done all of them and I will stop. But right now, it's trivia time. Let me read this here. I'm going to make sure I read it in a way that I don't show you the answer. And in chat, you can let me know. This is a question about Morse code. Which actor had his son's name incorrectly tattooed in Morse code on his arm? Is it A, Ben Affleck, B, Orlando Bloom, C, Tom Hardy, or D, Adam Levine? Levine? I can't remember. I'm sorry. My apologies to Adam L. Which actor had his son's name incorrectly tattooed in Morse code on his arm? Ben Affleck, Orlando Bloom, Tom Hardy, or Adam Levine? We've got some maybe Ben Affleck, maybe Adam, maybe Ben. So we got a few people here that think it's Ben Affleck, but okay, a few more people. I'll give you a little time here, folks. You write in chat if you think it's Ben Affleck or Orlando Bloom or Tom Hardy or Adam Levine. I'll give you a little time here, and then I'll let you know. Again, useless. This sounds like some Ben Affleck bullshit. Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. It does. And that's how they get you, because it's Orlando Bloom. Nobody really knows anything about him. Orlando Bloom. I'm sure people do know things about Orlando Bloom, but Orlando Bloom got a tattoo of Morse code on his arm with his son's name, and apparently that's wrong. The Morse code is wrong. The Morse code is wrong. That is delightfully useless trivia. But I can tell you, you now have the opportunity to say, you know, Ben Affleck, that guy's gone through a lot. He doesn't have a Morse code tattoo of his son's name incorrect on his arm. So at least he's got that going for him. That's something for Ben. Oh, Ben Aff. He's got that. Pretty okay. Yeah. I didn't know that. Lashbrook didn't know that about Tom Hardy either. My Tom Hardy knowledge is him as an actor and that he loves dogs. He is an avid raiser of dogs and an advocate for dog adoption, which is pretty good in my book. That's you get a little grace there if you are that kind of a person. So with me anyway, But thank you for using your channel points for that. There are a few things. I have a stupidly high channel points number for hitting a sound effect that just says yeah. You can ask a question, although you can always just ask a question. I don't give a shit about that. I have a physical bell that I can ring. I have a dance button that I can press. There are a few things for channel points. I can also always turn those off. Yeah, I can see that. Flashbrook, I can see that. You know, it takes all kinds, right? It takes all kinds. It's a wide, big world out there. One last video game thing. This is small. Big Hops is getting some friend slop. And I should make this clear. When I say friend slop, that is not a derogatory term, in my opinion. It is a fairly accurate name for that kind of game, that kind of multiplayer, silly nonsense, possibly unbelievably scuffed video game experience, which I'm all for and have enjoyed quite a bit. Peak is, in fact, Peak. My multiplayer crew, which normally is a crew of people that plays multiplayer games, lots of shooters and such. We've been playing Mecha Chameleon. I played I think on Sunday, we played 5 hours of Mecha Chameleon with people rotating in and out. Over the session was just ridiculous because that game is phenomenal. Yeah, Peak is high production. So Big Hops came out this year, and they're going to do a multiplayer mode, which is basically the whole game, but also 8-person multiplayer. And it's online multiplayer co-op, and that looks very silly and probably pretty broken. And apparently was very difficult to do. And that's going to be out August 9th. And it'll be Big Hops Together, which sounds pretty good. Mecha Chameleon is so fun to watch. Yeah, man. Mecha Chameleon is... So Mecha Chameleon is one of those games that makes you feel smart as a viewer and a stream setting, right? Because you're watching somebody do a bad job, doing their best, but their best might be good. And they're hiding in plain sight, and they get away with it. And you're like, but that was bad. How could no one see them? I would have seen them. And it's one of those games. And then also sometimes somebody does a really good job. You're like, that's ridiculous. How could you possibly... And then someone immediately finds them. And you're like, no, they did so good. You convince yourself that the person you're watching is doing fantastic. It's just frantic and fun. I've been having a really good time with Mecha Chameleon. As I said, I do have a crew of folks that... we kind of just trade through multiplayer games, and this has been the thing that has kind of stuck with us for a bit. There is a small contingent of folks that are PlayStation owners in the crew that are thinking they might get Halo because so this multiplayer crew. It is not exclusively people that I've been playing games with for 2 decades, but there are people in this group that I have been playing video games with for over 2 decades. And there is a small contingent of folks in there that we didn't play Halo together, but we played Halo 2 together a lot. We played a lot of Halo, some of them, and more of them played a lot of Halo 2 together. So, there is a, we played the most recent Halo before this. We got Infinite. We did get some Infinite time in. So there are some folks that are like, what if we played Halo? Now, I am certainly not out here telling you to buy Microsoft products. I am not going to be that person. I am not going to tell you that you must honor a boycott. I am simply going to tell you that there is a boycott happening, right? Buying Microsoft games is by not buying them, you are participating in something. Now, I tell you this fully understanding that I stream Hearthstone every couple months. I have not put money into Hearthstone in several years, but I play Hearthstone every day. It is my go-to day, is my daily game. I put a lot of time into that. And so I am certainly not without reproach when it comes to these things. I think I have said that incorrectly, but you understand hopefully you understand what I'm saying here. That being said, do they know it doesn't have competitive multiplayer? Yes, Lashbrook. They do know that. But there has been a push for Halo time. Like just playing in a Discord call. You know, that kind of thing. There's been discussion of throwback Halo time. Here's what I will say. You make the decisions that are right for you when it comes to what games you're playing and how you're going to play them and all of that, right? If you wanted to, you could buy a PlayStation 5 disc, because they're still selling discs now. They won't at some point, but right now they're still selling discs. You can buy, it is available for purchase if you are so interested and inclined. You could buy Halo on a PlayStation 5 disc. You see a photo of Master Chief on a blue case. And that's weird. That doesn't feel right or like it should be true or should be a thing that you can do. It's weird, right? And like, I understand why people are like, I kind of need to own that. And I get it. Again, I am not here to say you should or shouldn't be doing that. I don't own a PlayStation 5, so it is a moot point for your friend Pat. But like, I get it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like Hasbro is shit. They're not great at this. And what they're doing with Wizards, particularly with Magic the Gathering, and then also now the D&D stuff is weird. It's just all going to be weird. And so I totally understand being frustrated with that, but also being like, well, that's also like the games I like playing, and like, oh boy. And then, you know, there's always the conversation there, which I think is totally fine to have the conversation. Okay, so those are 33, those are 34. Great. Oh, if you don't know, I am using my phone right now because my overhead lighting, so that this is not as dark as it could be. It could be brighter for sure, but it could be way darker than it is here. I'll show you without this lighting. Without this lighting, this is a bad fucking time. So with this lighting, it's better. But that lighting does mean that a silver-backed sticker set is very difficult for my middle-aged eyes to read what's going on. So I use my camera sometimes to find out that I need that sticker 32, that sticker 33, that sticker 34. The tools. When I did a jigsaw puzzle, I was doing a jigsaw puzzles last year. Magic the Gathering themed jigsaw puzzles. They're fun. I was trying to match with like words written on a magic card, and I had a physical magnifying glass to do that, because that was the easiest way for me to be able to read the stuff on the legend or the box or whatever. I just use a physical magnifying glass, and it's like, yeah, this is allowing me to see what I'm doing here. I have a better prescription on my glasses now, so it would probably be easier for me to do it than it was then. But still, like I said, the silver here hits the overhead lighting, and it doesn't look bad. It probably doesn't look too bad to you, but to me, this is very difficult to read with my lighting here. I am going to not do I often do a pause for the cause, but we have a bunch of people here who are not here normally, so I'm going to skip that. I'm going to skip my anime reviews, episode reviews, and I'll do those later at a later date. But I do just want to quickly just advertise a thing. Subscribing here would be great if you're interested in doing that. We did have that anonymous gift sub, which is very kind. If you're interested in that, I also have a Patreon. That is another way to support what I do here, because some people do not want to subscribe to Twitch, and I understand that. I get it. So Patreon's another option if that's something you're interested in. And then a video I'd love for you to go check out is... So I do a weekly video series called Kuma Baer. My last name is Baer, B-A-E-R, and I do a series called Kuma Baer. Kuma is bear in Japanese. So it's a series called Bear Bear. And if you're thinking to yourself, is this a reference to like Kuma 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 Bear, the anime? And the answer is yes, it is a reference to that. So I do a series called Kuma Baer, where because they're YouTube shorts, I recommend an anime in under a minute. And there's usually a theme for every month. And the theme for this month, July, was I was talking about some of my favorite shows from the spring anime season. So I would love to recommend to you that you watch this 1 minute video about, the full title is a mouthful here. So let me open it up here. Real quick, and then hopefully it won't autoplay. Don't autoplay. Botan Kamina fully blossoms when drunk is the full title of that anime, and I will say it again. Botan Kamina fully blossoms when drunk. It is a long title. It's not the longest title, but it's a long title. It is a series about a college girl named Botan. She is learning what it means to be an adult that drinks. And so it is an exploration of her kind of blossoming as a person with a little bit of, liquid courage, meeting people, building friendships, deepening friendships. Is the series gay? Yes, it is. It is not subtext, it is text. It is not a queer baiting series about a show where there's a lot of girls, and you're like, at the end of it, you go, but nobody kissed? It is not baiting. It is an actual Yuri show. It is a queer story about a girl trying to figure stuff out, and other girls trying to figure stuff out, and it is also very cute. It is a girls doing things show where the thing they're doing is drinking. If you want something that is gay, but also more dangerous, there are anime this season about girls that is far more destructive than that, but this one is sweet and cute and fun, and I recommend it. At least watch my one video about it and make your own decision. But yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to promote. Oh, you know what? I'll mention this. I have a web series called Pat Bear's Anime Club. I have been doing it for a very long time. And the most recent episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club you might enjoy. It is me talking about my 10 favorite anime so far this year. In no particular order, although the last two I talk about are like my two favorites. Botan is in that list. Spoiler alert. But yeah, we're like halfway through the anime season, or the year, or anime year, I should say. And so I thought, I'll do a video on that, and then I'll be able to look at the end of the year when I do my top 10 and go like, oh yeah, that just didn't make the cut. Irma-kun is number 11, I guess, that kind of thing. When I first started making my list, I was like, I'm just going to write down all the shows that I really like this year so far, and then compare and contrast them. And then I had to cut that list from 18 down to 10 because it's been a very good year for anime. It's been a really, really strong year. And this season, summer, also really strong. Easy recommendations this summer. Ghost in the Shell on Amazon Prime. I have a video that I'm planning to make. I'll give you a little heads up there, a little sneak peek. I am planning to make a video saying, hey, there's some really good anime on Amazon Prime. Because there is. One of my favorite shows of 2025, City, the animation, is on Amazon Prime. If you've ever seen the anime Nichigo, it's the same mangaka. If you loved Nichigo, you owe it to yourself to watch City, the animation, which came out last year. It is on Amazon Prime. But I know some people don't want to buy something from Amazon, and I fucking get it. They don't want to be on Prime anymore, and I fucking get it. But yeah, there's some good anime over there. I really, always really liked the name. Hell yeah. I thought Botan was a weird made-up fantasy name. Only character I've ever seen was Botan from Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, no, Botan is a real name. That is a name. I don't think it's like super popular, but it is a name that's out there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, look, like I said, sometimes that, anime that is all girls doing things anime are not inherently Yuri. Girls doing things anime are not always queer or queer coded or baiting. Sometimes they are because that will increase, the titillating and people come in and all that. But like a show like New Game is queer because there are characters in New Game who are definitely in love with one another. But that one's like, well, yeah, this is gay, but like, relax. Let's like, that's not going to be the main thing. But you're like, all right, well, no, there's some queer romance in this one. This year's been pretty fucking rad for Boys Love and Yuri. It has been pretty damn solid when it comes to that stuff. I'll say this. In the winter 2026 season, the beginning of the year, there were 3 anime that were BL, Boys Love, if you don't know. So there were 3 that were BL that were also isekai. So there were 3 anime where the main character had been summoned or reborn in a different world, and that also was loving dudes. Like 3 of them. And 2 of them were good. One of them was great, and one of them I didn't watch because it was on the horny service. And I just felt like look, I will do a lot in the name of watching stellar anime. I will subscribe to services that I don't really need for anything but anime. Right now, I am subscribing to 4 streaming services, one of which I also use for shipping. Amazon Prime's a weird one. But I'm on Netflix and Crunchyroll and HiDive right now to watch anime. Netflix, other stuff comes up, but like, it's a lot. I'm not going to subscribe to Ocean Vale for the horny anime. The horny anime, the actual porn anime can live on Ocean Vale, and that's fine, but like, no thanks. I'm not doing it. I don't think you should either. But if you are going to, I don't know, have a good time. That service seems shady as shit. I don't know. Maybe they take credit cards right now. For a while there, when it launched, they were only doing PayPal. And I was like, oh, this is... Like, I understand, like, with porn and all of that, and I don't, I certainly want companies to fucking be better about that shit, but that service seems shady as hell. Anyway. A lot of great anime this year, so check out some good ones. Yeah, so Yeah, the site is not great. I will say they are a legitimate company that exists. They are a company that they are an offshoot. The owners of Ocean Vale uh, is a publisher of manga, and then they started making their own anime of their manga, which is almost exclusively of an adult nature. They've also licensed some stuff that isn't adult in nature, that is just kind of like old anime, but you can also find almost all of that on like Retro Crush or even like Pluto TV or whatever. So I wouldn't necessarily say that like that's a good reason to get it. They do have a few things that are like kind of rare and kind of interesting that they got the licenses for, but mostly it's there for adult oriented stuff. And yeah, I mean, like they make the kind of anime that when I'm like going through all the anime that's coming out for a season, I go, wait, what the fuck is what the fuck? And then I'm like, oh, okay, it's Ocean Vale. But like it catches me off guard because I'm like reading about like an isekai, a banished series, a magical girls show, some sort of idol drama, and then it's just like this volleyball. The volleyball coach does massages, and I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, I'm good. Yeah. Because I talk about anime on stream, on my streams, I talk about anime. I make videos about it. I am on the up and up about how I watch my anime. This is not a judgment on anybody that does anything out there doing their thing. But yeah, I mean, I pay for services because I talk about them as part of my job in a way. So I do keep my nose clean when it comes to that stuff. And again, also because like I just now have between voice actor friends and people in various industries and the like, I worked for like very briefly. I worked for Crunchyroll in the aspect of like convention stuff, like very minimal. This is one of those things where I'm like, all right, yeah, I buy things. But this is not, me saying like, I'm not getting mad at anybody doing anything. Just letting you know what my stance is and what my deal is for that stuff. Somewhat related to anime, because there are animated cutscenes in it that are going for an anime style. Y'all, I need to talk about Holodori, which is the Japanese name for the game, but the English name for the game is Hollow Dreams. This is a fucking video game, y'all. This is a video game. It is a rhythm game. Tap the rhythm for mobile devices. I'm playing on an iPad. It features almost every talent, female talent, VTuber talent from Hololive. The most recent generation of English of EN Justice are not in there, and the most recent of one of the Japanese generations, the Devis Flowglow, are not in there. Weirdly enough, they don't have dialogue. Well, actually, no, a couple of them do. Some retired VTubers are from the EN branch are in there. And that's weird. Some of whom are now independent VTubers on their own, but not the one that left a long time ago. It's weird. It's so weird. Anyway, there's a lot of like VTuber bullshit that I could talk about with this, and I could talk about the VTuber bullshit. There are two things I want to talk about when it comes to this. One, it is a good rhythm game. You're playing covers of songs. If you want a cover of Snow Halation by VTubers, and you want to tap along to Snow Halation, it is a very good game for that. I think it is a fantastic game for the rhythm aspect. I think the rhythm aspect is really well done. It's hard. I am aware of a lot of these songs. I don't think you need to be to enjoy it, but if you were looking for a free-to-play game with a lot of cool tapping and having fun and some fun songs, and there's a challenge to it, it is a well-made one of those, and we get them, but this feels like it had a budget. This feels like they put money into it, and we don't always get that with these kinds of games. Also, its its settings are really good. You can really lock in, especially if you are someone that wanted to stream it, let's say, and you were using a capture card in order to stream that, and the calibration would be a little off. Like you can really nail it. I think that's phenomenal. The problem is that game is free to play because it is a gacha game, and the gacha is unreal. It is it just launched. It launched, and then they were like, and now the summer event. And I was like, oh, it's fucking fuck you. Fuck you. I would have spent money on this video game, but I do not want to gacha for level 5 Mori Calliopes. That is not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for, well, I got a level 4 Subaru, but I'd really want a level... I got a level 5 Subaru, but I don't have it in the duck costume. I've got her regular... I don't have her summer costume. So why don't I buy more tickets so that I can spin more wheels? Ooh, I got bonus spins coming my way. Ooh, I have a higher chance of getting 2 level 4s on this. I don't want to do any of that. Also, this is a weird thing for me to say. It's too much fucking video game. Because there's also a, like, open world, like, thing with, like, all of the characters walking around, chibi forms of the characters wandering around, and you can interact with them, and there are, like, deep cut references and silly stuff, and so many cutscenes. There are so many cutscenes and dialogue things with, like, one word and then a bunch of text for the characters, and this is a weird gripe to be having, but I will have this gripe. You pick your language, right? Everyone speaks the language that you picked, and it's just like they're all conversing. Like, there are multiple people in that company that speak multiple languages. I am not saying that they don't, but I know there are some people that don't speak Japanese, and I know there's some Japanese talent that doesn't speak English. The Indonesian talent all speak English and Indonesian, and some of them also speak Japanese, which is fucking impressive and crazy. It's fucking wild that there are some talent out there that speak 3 languages and they are fluent and or at least presentable at all of them, and that's fucking bonkers impressive. So are these various HoloLive games like wrestling games with their out-of-date rosters? So Lord Crashington, kind of, yeah. So there are characters there are people that exist. If you know Gura, if you know Gura is no longer with HoloLive. She is an independent VTuber again under a different name. But Gura is in this fucking video game, hanging out in the background. She's not a choose-a playable character. You can't pick her as a main, but she's in there, dicking around in the background with the other making people cry, because you will just be doing things and suddenly everyone from one of the generations is together again. Myth is suddenly back and everyone's there, or Promise are suddenly together, and you're like, what is happening? You will be watching a streamer play this game as part of their job, and they will say something like, oh yeah, Mume, it's Mume, and they will lose their minds. because Mume is there. Because Mume retired from active VTubing. She is occasionally putting songs out under another name and occasionally doing art streams. But she is not a VTuber. Basically, like 3 fairly successful, fairly well-known English VTubers left from Hololive, like around all the same time. And then pretty recently, a Japanese VTuber left. Some of them left, and they're just like around. One left and is not in the game at all. And I'm like, what happened with Al? What happened with Al? I don't know. I don't know what happened with her. She didn't even have a goodbye. She was done. She didn't like have a goodbye stream. So it's just like, oh, okay. Something fucking happened there. Also, yes, one person watching this later, Amelia Watson is an associate. She is both an independent VTuber on her own in another gear, and she is still affiliated. So sometimes Amelia Watson shows up for things. And I don't know how that works, and I don't know why that works, but it does. They're cool with her. She didn't like retire. She's just like still a technical advisor. But anyway, the game is predatory because it's a gacha game, and I think that part fucking sucks. And there's a lot of weird shit going on in that game that I think sucks. But also, the rhythm part of it's really good. If you can resist the gacha parts and you just want to play a good rhythm game, it's a good one of those. It's just all the extra shit that I'm like, fuck you, fuck all this. I'm mad. I'm getting hot about it. Anyway, there are folks that are still hanging out here. Obviously, they're not opposed to VTuber conversations or VTuber stuff. They came here from watching a VTuber do VTuber stuff. The various independent VTubers. The lifeblood of a corner of the internet and streaming is the independent VTuber. Making shit happen. Occasionally, going from independent to working for a company, and then that company did not understand how to run an entertainment. They were trying to run an entertainment company differently than an idol group, and it did not work out. Or they are an independent VTuber, and then they become a work for a company under another name, and then suddenly their independent VTuber persona comes back because they do not work for that company anymore, or that company went out of business. There's a lot. That shit is wild. There's a lot going on with how like all of those companies run and all those people run. Maury Calliope, mentioned her early. Callie is doing dub voices. She is a part of the cast of Inept Villainous. I believe there's only done one episode so far dubbed, but she is made her debut. She's primarily has been doing songs for anime. Yeah, I agree. So on the one hand, agencies, theoretically, there's some big benefits to working with an agency. Now, obviously, VTubing has been hit with a lot of really shady, really shitty agencies that have run very poor business, right? That have been awful, unfortunately. And one certain huge downside to all of this is that a lot of VTubers, not all of them, but a lot of VTubers that are out there are younger folks, right? And they have been taken advantage of. For a lot of people, they are independent VTubers that become a part of a network or part of an agency, and that this is their first real job, and they are unfamiliar with what's happening there. And sometimes a VTuber agency is run by people who got weird funding from strange places that are like, I'm going to run this. I've seen how other people run them, and they do a shit job, and I'm going to do a better job. And you're like, that sounds great. Oh, you don't know how to run a business. fuck. And then also you have the whole thing of people trying to tie their people that have tried to be anonymous. Now, there are some people out there, independent VTubers, that are like, I am not anonymous. I did stuff on the internet before this and people know who I am, and that's okay. Or people who are like, it is a big secret that you're like, you could go to a concert for a certain musician and someone in the crowd would yell something about deadbeats or call her dad. And she would be like, all right, because everybody knows that's also Mori Calliope. Like, and that's cool and that's fine. Thank you, Electronica, for resubbing. I appreciate that very much. I'm going to throw in the applause there. If you're a subscriber, you can throw some emotes in the chat. Thank you very much. But there are other people who are like, my persona is protected. I am a VTuber, and part of the reason why I'm a VTuber is so that I can have my, I can just like live my life and not have to deal with shit and not have to deal with people. And oh no, like sometimes that doesn't work out because people are awful. Which is a real nightmare. So having an agency to look out for you and to have your back in those situations can be fantastic. It can be a real lifeline to people to have those opportunities. Getting sponsorships, getting brand deals, getting merch made, right? Like merch design, merch made. If you are one of those kinds of VTubers that wants to be a singer, and produce music and all of that, like, and have music videos, the MV, the last in a dying breed of places you can watch that people that are producing music videos, musical comedians and VTubers, and that's pretty much it, right? Like, yeah, there are some people that make videos like Iron Mike Eagle, an independent rapper of much acclaim, good old Mike Eagle, one of the best, still makes music videos for things because he is a creative mind and because he wants to do that. But there are not a lot of people out there making music videos these days. But if you are a VTuber of some note and you are trying to make music, then you make music videos. And then you pay people to make music videos. And then, of course, there are people that don't do any of that shit, that are VTubers, but they do not consider themselves idols. They are not attempting to approach being an idol. They literally just, through comfortability, through anonymity, through the voyeurism and escapism and the character work. One thing we don't have a lot of in streaming outside of the VTuber community is character work, because like sometimes people wear wigs or a fake mustache and they do like a character that's just them a little bit bigger. This is me turned up a little bit. This is me a little angrier than I am sometimes, a little more self-righteous than I am sometimes, a little bit more playful than I am sometimes. But this is basically me. I would love, maybe I would have done a character. If I had become a VTuber, I would have done some character work, and that would have been a thing. But you do have that a lot in VTubing, which is awesome. And sometimes VTubers are just like, it's me, but I'm a dragon man. I'm just a dragon man, but I'm basically me. Hell yeah, Mike rules. My weird little corner of VTubing scene with the furry community is totally ignored by agencies. It has its pros and cons. I do wish the opportunities were the folks that want it, but I appreciate the DIY ethos and the lack of drama that agencies can bring. Indeed, yes. So, like, a lot of big agencies are happy to take furry money, but are worried about thinking they're being pigeonholed into a community that is there, that like, oh no, if you are not a furry, then you're not welcome here, like that kind of thing, like, right? But they'll fucking take your money. They will take your money. They will have lots of cat and dog and rabbit related characters and VTubers, and they will certainly, and goblins and elves, and they will be happy, overjoyed to have your money. Like many other weird little corners of the internet. But yeah, a lot of that is unfortunate, and like, I mean, it goes through all sorts of waves. And the same thing, in the same way that, like, how do I put this? There's a thing in wrestling, in Japanese women's wrestling, where it also goes in the idol route. A lot of it comes back to idol work, right? In Japanese wrestling, traditionally, if you were working in your teens and in your 20s into your 30s, maybe into your 30s. And then you stop wrestling and you have a family. And then maybe when your kids are grown, you will come back into wrestling as like a retirement tour. You'll be in your 40s or your 50s and you'll do it again, but you stop. And while you're a wrestler, you don't talk about anything to do with dating, that you're dating anyone, that you're seeing anyone, if you are in a relationship, if you are gay, if you are straight. You know, you don't have any of those conversations because you are working with the illusion that at least most of your audience would like to date you. And you keep that alive. Same thing with singers and actors and all this other shit. And it sucks. Occasionally, a Japanese women's wrestler, a Joshi wrestler, will say, actually, yeah, I'm engaged. I'm getting married. Often, those wrestlers have left the Joshi system and are in other promotions or other places. And it fucking rules. Sometimes they're retired. And so they feel free to mention it. One thing that's pretty fucking cool is because she is from Australia and not Japan, Kira Summer, who is a wrestler with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, Kira, who is Australian, is married and has a kid. And we know that. We know that she's married. We know that she has a kid. That is just a thing. And I think it's partly because she's not Japanese. We know that, we don't know if they got married because it's her business, but we know that Hyper Misao announced her retirement and then said, my retirement is with telling you my age. She retired from announcing how old she got. And then she also said, also, I'm engaged to get married, which rules. But most of the time, we don't hear about that shit because it's stuck. Japanese wrestling is often stuck in those kinds of things with the idol scene, and that extends out to other things, right? We know that in a former English VTuber for Hololive is getting married. And that didn't have to be our business as viewers. We never need to know that. But we do know that because she's independent, and she's excited to say, I'm getting married. Because we have known that she has talked in the past, and various characters, about someday wanting to get married and being a mom. And so now she's getting married. And we know about that. And it's joyful and it's wonderful. There is a clip going around. I don't remember which VTuber it was. There's a video going around of a Japanese VTuber with translated. And it is the chat basically being like, well, yeah, if you want to like get married, you should get married. We want you to be happy, which goes against the theory that everyone watching imagines that the person behind the persona would someday marry them. If they spend enough money, someday they'll be part of that, right? The weird creep fantasy that is assumed that everyone has. And then the reality is, it's just like, I'm sure not everybody thinks that way, but there is a non-zero amount of people that are just like, well, yeah, we want you to fall in love. Like, what are we talking about here? They don't want, it's like, and her being like very surprised that people being like, yeah, we want you to find somebody. It's, those cultures are slowly changing, and I think it's really good that they're changing, because it happens. It's been happening little bits and pieces here in the idol scene in Korea, which is just a copy of. It's a variation of the Japanese idol scene as well. Unfortunately, where people are like starting to figure that stuff out a little bit here and there. Like, we're at the point now that I don't think that American boy bands would be a thing again. Or I think One Direction is the last big British boy band. I just think that's probably done. There's possibilities I'm wrong on that. It could happen again. But I think we're at the point where if someone was just like, I'm bisexual, or I'm gay, or I'm a lesbian, or I'm non-binary, or there are a couple non-binary K-pop performers now. Or if someone was just like, I'm asexual, I'm still going to sing songs about loving you, girl, but also, I don't fucking quite understand how that works. Like, I think that could happen. We're at the point now where that could happen. Will it happen? I don't know. Would people be fully accepting of it? Maybe. Some people probably fucking not. But there'd be some people that just be like, hell yeah. Because they want that. Yeah. The parasocial stuff is tough, right? It's tough. You see it in many facets. I'm not just talking about streaming. Streaming is definitely an odd one because like, I am a version of me, right? But I'm mostly me, and I'm just a guy, right? Like, I'm just a guy that builds model kits and hangs out, plays video games once a week. I'm the guy that played Power Wash Simulator 2 days ago and thought the Star Wars stuff is pretty great in it. Like, that's a good pack. I would recommend it. But, like, I'm a guy and whatever. And so people can have parasocial relationships with me and feel that I'm approachable, and they can talk to me, and they can send me messages on Blue Sky, and I have a Discord and I read every message in the Discord. I don't reply to everything in the Discord. Today there was a thing in the Discord that I was like, my own Discord that I make, that I go, I don't want to talk about that, so I'm going to ignore it. And it is what it is. But with any sort of larger thing, right? Like, I'm at the point now where, yeah, if you wanted to reach out to me, not hard. Not hard to do that, right? I am approachable. There are people that will make YouTube videos about how Northern Lion has changed. Because 8 years ago, 7 years ago, 5 years ago, you could write in Northern Lion's chat and he'd probably respond to it. And he doesn't do that anymore. He's changed. And it's like, you're delusional. Like, Iron Mouse doesn't reply to fans anymore, is something that people will say. And it's like, no. Do you see how many people are typing at once? What do you like? Imagine if instead of 11 viewers right now, there was 111. I'm just saying 111, which I'm not even talking about like when I said Iron Mouse, Northern Lion, like, I'm not even talking about those kind of numbers. I'm talking about like if 100 people came in and 50% of them wanted to chat. That's 50 people typing at once. I'm not catching everything. I wouldn't even try to catch everything. A friend of mine who understands how this shit works, was like, yeah, I'm kind of bummed because like one of the guys I've been following for a while, like he got too big. And like I don't want to have to like use my channel points so he can see what I have to say. And I was like, yeah, that is like a thing that can happen. It can happen. But like my friend was like, I'm not mad about it. He's like, and I was like, yeah. And like, we're talking about Tom Walker here. I'm like, Tom's gonna be on Australian, Taskmaster. He's going to be on the next Australian Taskmaster. More people are going to show up to his streams because like that's a show. Like people love Taskmaster so much that they watch the other countries' ones. They don't just watch the English ones. Also, the Australian one's pretty good. Let's get some good people on there. Like Tom's going to get busier when he streams, and it's going to change. It's been changing for him as he's done more and more stuff. Like, and you kind of want that. Lord Crashington, Jeff Gersman will read your dumb letter. Now, I don't know how many emails Jeff doesn't read on the podcast, but I'm sure it's plenty. But he will read the people that other folks would probably just ignore. It keeps them grounded. It keeps, whatever. But like, yes. Jeff occasionally suffers fools in a way that he does not need to suffer fools. And I do appreciate that, but yeah, he does not need to do that. 26, A1 goes there, A2 goes there. Yeah, the parasocial stuff is this is a thing that multiple people around the world have not been able to understand, and I don't think will ever understand. So if you see Gail Simone, the comic author, Gail Simone on Blue Sky, right? Gail Simone interacts with people. She will share some posts for people that are doing fundraising, or relief for injury and stuff like that, crowdfunding. She will people that ask her questions about comics, especially this run of X-Men most recently, so she'll talk about that. She does troll occasionally, and she will have an opinion that she does not believe, but she'll write it, and people don't understand what's going on, and she engages with that. And because she interacts with some people, other folks don't understand that she's not. That they think, oh, she's not talking to me. Why is she not talking to me? She talks to everyone else. And it's like, no, you don't understand the volume. She's still only interacting with like 5% of the people that are messaging her. But because she interacts at all, and she isn't just a one-way thing, people do think that she is like ignoring them. And that happens with streamers. There are people that will go into a stream at the streamer and say, hey, how are you doing? And then 30 seconds later go, oh, okay, I guess you just ignore everybody, huh? Oh, wow, this streamer doesn't fucking respond to people. Won't even give enough time for the delay. And that streamer will have 500 people. They will have 500 people. If you came into my chat and said, hey, and I was like reading something, responding to somebody else that wrote something in chat, anything like that, and I didn't get to you immediately, and then you were like, oh, you don't respond to people? Yeah, I'd ban you. And I'm small time. But I don't have to put up with that. But like, yeah, if there's 500 people and you're like, oh, you don't like whatever, like immediately, it's just like, oh yeah, no. You don't like, you just don't get what reality is. It's like, okay, yeah, all right. You don't understand reality. That is a thing. Like, I want Senpai to notice me. I get that. I understand that. I have done I will say this, friends. I've done the thing. Talked about it here. People that have been here a lot know. I've done the thing on numerous times in my life. I have gone from being a guy that liked what people were doing to a friend of the people that were doing the thing that I liked. I've done it. It's possible. And it fucking rules. I will tell you that it fucking is awesome. I've done that thing. But I will tell you that it's hard to do. Sometimes people are people. But I never complained my way into a friendship. I have never, like, none of that. My secret was that I was doing cool shit as well. And people were excited to do the cool shit with me. That's my big secret. Also, once you start making friends with people in a larger community, it opens the door to other people in that community, because when folks hit a certain level of acknowledgement on the internet, having people that are chill and cool to talk to, sometimes it's harder. And if you are a cool, chill person to talk to, then it's like, oh, that's pretty good. All right, that works out. Yes, it can be wild. Yeah. Yeah, it is the weirdness of that. Like, and again, people that subscribe, thank you. People that cheer, thank you. Of course, thank you. That's unbelievable. You're supporting the dream. That's wonderful. But the people that are like, well, I give to your Patreon, so I'm going to be a dick in your Discord because I pay for access to your Discord. So I shouldn't have to obey the rules and be a good person. It's just like, oh no, that's not how that works. You have to understand. Like, look, so you $6, my half of the $6 here on Twitch, that adds up to me buying model kits and continuing to do this thing, which is awesome. I don't take that for granted. But also, you could gift 100 subs, and if you're an asshole, then you get blocked. Creepy, weird, demanding. I don't have time for that. Nobody's got time for that. And yeah, and some folks just need, like, they need to relax and do some thinking and possibly do some growing up. I will say, I have been interacting with somebody that I found out is my age, and the benefit of the doubt that I was giving this person, who I thought was in their 20s, I just thought they were somebody just still trying to figure out how to be a person, and that's true. It's just also that they're in their mid-40s and still trying to figure that shit out, and I was like, oh, I have less tolerance for you than I did previously once I learned that. Oh, no, I feel very different about how this is going now that I know that information. It's like, oof, no. All right, I think I'm going to wrap up stream tonight. Now, we did have a big raid come in, which is awesome, and we are going to raid, and because that's how we're going to end tonight's stream. We always end with a raid. We're going to find someone doing cool stuff out there that we want to go hang out with, and I encourage you to come along for the ride if you're interested. Let's see, who are we gonna go raid? Let's see, who are we gonna go raid? Yeah, no, at a certain point it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't have to be as nice about this. But yeah, we're gonna go raid, and then my next stream will be Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I encourage you to come back. I will be continuing to work on this kit. I might finish this kit on Saturday, I don't know. But that'll be Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern will be the next time. Well, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that. Matt Wiggins is playing Marathon. I think Marathon's pretty fucking great. And Matt's pretty damn good at Marathon. So let's go hang out with Matt Wiggins as he plays some Marathon. And once again, I encourage you to come back Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't hit that follow button, consider hitting that follow button. I'm going to continue working on this model kit. I'm going to talk about some anime on Saturday that I've been watching. It'll be good. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your night. I hope you come back again. For my regulars, hey, thanks for being here as always. Thanks for the support. Let's go hang out. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.